Hello, pro wrestling fans, family, and friends. Welcome to a brand new episode of the History of Professional Wrestling. I am your host, the one, the only, sometimes ravishing Joe Monroe. And tonight, we actually got a full panel tonight for the History of Pro Wrestling. This is going to be the largest panel probably ever for this show. But before we get started and introduce our lovely guests, let's go ahead and shout out some sponsors. First and foremost, let's shout out Phenomenal Finds ATL. If you're looking for anything retro, whether it be professional wrestling, horror, or whatever you can think of, check out PhenomenalFindsATL.com. They may have it for you, as well as Charms Photos. Crystal, the lady who takes pictures of in-ring action and our promo photos. Seriously, I am very surprised her camera has not broken taking pictures of this ugly mug. Go check out her Facebook. She takes wonderful photos, as well as Les Murphy Painting. If you're having any trouble with any painting needs, contact Les Murphy at 734-334-3702. Huge shout out to Red 8 Graphics by Crander Q. That's right, Crander Q for Friends of the Squared Circle. He is the man who makes graphics for us. And you know what? I got to give him a big shout out because whether he wants to be my friend or not, he does a heck of a job. And don't forget, next week we will have a brand new episode of the No Sell Roundtable, where we're going to be talking about the best and worst of ECW pay-per-views. And big announcement here, go ahead and click on that QR code right there because that is our official shop. That's right, the Joe Monroe Show has an official shop. Go check it out. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, even coffee mugs and hats. So go click on this QR code for that. And I want to take it away in about 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, if you didn't click on it, you're too late. Also, I want a big shout out to Scarefest 16. We are going to be there from October 18th through the 20th. Friday pass is still available. Saturday's limited. Sunday's still available. Weekends limited. Everything else is sold out. So be sure, if you're a horror fan and or a wrestling fan, go check out Scarefest Weekend 16, October 18th through the 20th at Central Bank Center in Lexington, Kentucky. Now, I know we're on a very unfamiliar platform here. Thanks to our partners, WrestleRama, we are on X. So big shout out to them. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's get one of them in here. The man who is over WrestleRama, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about none other than Benny Laurie. Come on, Benny, come on out.
What's up?
Benny, welcome to the show, man. I was on your show last night, and now you're on mine. How does it feel being part of history?
It feels great, and I'm so glad you're a part of our beautiful train wreck last night. So thank you for that.
Hey, you know what? I had fun. That's the main thing. And another man I want to introduce that's also representing WrestleRama, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff the Ruck. Ruck, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? It's an honor to meet you, sir. Pleasure to be a part of History of Professional Wrestling. And my man, Benny Laurie, good to see you as always, my good man.
Who are you?
Oh, God.
Oh, God, we're going to start this already.
Doing this now?
No, what's up, brother?
Monroe. I apologize, sir.
It's all right. It's all right. You know what? We can't. We got to get along a little bit, or we can not get along. But speaking of getting along and history of professional wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know my next guest, the man that you all always want to be on here. He's very requested to coming back on any of the shows. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about who I consider the Ric Flair of podcasting, none other than Professor Bear.
What's going on, sir?
Not much, Professor. Good to see you again. I know. Go ahead and tell them this is going to be your last episode for a while. So thank you for coming on. I know you got a bit some. I don't know if I can say. You want me to go ahead and tell the audience?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I know you got a surgery coming up, and you're getting prepped for that. So thoughts and prayers for you, sir, during that. But we would love to have you back as soon as you're able to, because not only do I enjoy having you on, not only does the cohorts love having you on, the audience requests you. So you're our most requested guest back. Now time for our least requested guest to come on here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the guy all the way from across the pond. He is representing Mayhem Media, none other. He is the one, the only, Connor frickin' Clarkson. Connor is back on the show. I know. Dave, that's rude. I'm sorry, Connor. You know how Dave is. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm what?
I'm least requested, but you still have me on.
Well,
Are you putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5, sir?
well, I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. I just love picking on you, buddy. All right, so well, let's bring in my I can't even. I don't want to even talk to this guy, to be honest with you. This
Makes
guy.
two of us.
Shut up. This guy, he makes fun of ECW. He's made fun of anything regarding extremely crappy wrestling, as he puts it, not me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the notorious ATB.
He's laughing. He's having a good time. Good for you. Yeah, laugh it up. Enjoy.
Sorry, I was watching some ECW clips before this started and fell asleep.
Oh, for crying out loud, he's already starting. All right, you know what? No, famous, how you doing or anything like that. Forget it, because I want to get to the better half of Till 5 Wrestling. Your co-host and the man who is going to be gracious enough to do a giveaway. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about the one, the only, Just 10 Credible.
Hey guys.
Wow, this is
Good to see everybody.
Good to see you too, sir. How are you doing today?
Doing great. How's everybody doing?
Doing pretty good. Let's see. That looks like we already got some people in. Looks like Mike D from Wrestling for the 313's in the house. What is up, Mike D? I call him the king of the 313. And it looks like John DeFalco. Is that how you say that, Aaron? I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Whoa, what a heel entrance with the ECW hatred. Well, yeah, he hates he hates anything that he's not happy with. And
That's
know
my
what?
good friend Spider-Man.
For that, Aaron, today you're actually on the you're on bottom. So
Hey, I like being on the bottom. It's okay.
Oh, so good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I am so sorry. And it looks like James Madley's in the house. What is up, James? He was on here last week. We was talking about ECW for the history of. But gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about someone very specific, someone who has an associated with the numbers 420. I am talking about none other than former ECW WWE champion, Mr. Rob Van Dam. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started. But first, what is your general thoughts on Rob Van Dam? Just we'll go with you first, sir.
Love him. Rob Van Dam's the man. He's in my personal top 10. I know I'm not going to say he's one of the top 10 greatest of all time, but he's definitely in my personal.
All right, Professor.
Well, I say it like this. If you cannot appreciate or like Rob Van Dam, then why in the hell are you watching wrestling? He has put a whole different spin on the professional business. And on top of that, you can, man, look what he has done and currently what he's doing. I mean, man, I know somebody in the panel may have some thoughts about him, but I'm just saying, give that man his props.
Absolutely. All right, Ruck, what do you think about Rob Van Dam just in general, my friend?
I thought Rob Van Dam was was the type of individual that never gave you a boring match ever in his life. I thought that he never got his just due in now his entire career. If he was just given the little bit of respect, he probably would have been up there, in my opinion, with the likes of John Cena, Roman Reigns, the Hogans, and that upper echelon. But never got his just due. Most of it probably because of his own doing. But yes, definitely up there. Top 10, possibly top 5.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you, Ruck, for that. Vinny Laurie. Yes, unmute yourself before. I'm kidding, buddy.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good, bro. You're good.
My dog's running around. I'm making sure that doesn't come on the feedback. I apologize.
No, all good. We like dogs here and cats. So your thoughts and generalization of Rob Van Dam?
One of the most versatile pro wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling. He's got charisma on his own merit, and he's one of the reasons why I started watching ECW before, the thing to WWE transition and everything else. So, yeah, he's definitely somebody that is up there as one of the greatest of all time.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Connor Clarkson, your generalization of your hero, Rob Van Dam. You have mentioned him in a post previously before, but what do you think about RVD himself?
I'll sum it up quick because I know you're not a fan of the British accent, so I'll sum it up pretty quick. Athlete, extreme, champion, one hell of a smoker. Let's be honest, one hell of a smoker. But yeah, definitely. He had a great run in ECW. Could have been better, but it also could have been a lot worse.
All right. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, if he can just be notorious for a moment, Notorious ATV. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't hate RVD. I really don't. I do think that he's highly overrated by the rest of him because the man would not crack my top 25 any day of the week. He is good at flipping around, but God help me, I've never enjoyed a Rob Van Dam promo. I think that he phoned in his career pretty much from the time that he got in trouble for smoking pot on. And yeah, so I don't hate him, but I don't love him. I mean, he's probably the best thing to come out of ECW, but I mean, I've had better things come out in the bathroom than a lot of things out of ECW.
Oh, come on. Don't start. All right. Let's move on to the first question here before you get fully started. All right, folks. Speaking of the original ECW lineup, I won't kill Crander for this. Should RVD have been the ECW champion in the original run of ECW? Personally, I think yes, he should have. I think there was a lot of opportunity for him to do that. And I think he would have. Justin, we'll go with you first, sir.
I know everybody else on the panel is probably going to say yes, and everybody expects me to say yes, but I'm going to say no. And the reason I don't think he should have been is because he really elevated the mid-card in ECW to a level that it would have never gotten to had he not been television champion for 700 days. Having great matches with guys like Jerry Lynn, Super Crazy, Lance Storm. There's no way they should have took him out of the mid-card.
All right. Well, that's an interesting point of view. The Ruck himself, what do you think?
So, while I agree with Just Tan, he did elevate that mid card. He should have been, because you can only, while you did everything you could for the mid card, I felt that he should have been the ECW champion, because what more was there for you to do at the mid card? But I'll say that for later. But yeah, I think he should have been. I think he should be ECW champion, because, like I said, what else is there for him to do at the mid card? You beat Jerry Lynn, you beat Super Crazy. Like, there was nothing else for you to do. You painted the picture as what everything that you did. Like, what else can you do to it? What else can you do to your painting?
Right. Wow, that's very good. All right, Benny Laurie, what do you think, sir, about him having the ECW title during the original run of ECW?
I don't think he should have had the ECW title. I think he should have had, programs where he challenged for the title, because I honestly, there are some wrestlers that can carry a company. You don't even have to have a title wrapped around their waist. Obviously, the TV title was the reason why I started tuning in to ECW. And I just feel like, putting it on him kind of like would ruin it, because then the mid card gets weak. So the balance kind of goes in and out. So no, I don't agree that he should have been ECW champion.
All right, let's hear. All right, Professor, go ahead and hit us with your wisdom, sir. What do you think? Should Rob Van Dam won the ECW heavyweight title during the original run of ECW?
Yes, I think he should have. Now, he blazed a path through the mid card, elevating guys, putting on great matches. But imagine if Rob would have been the head guy. You could have promoted that so well and put him against so many different challengers, high flyers, smaller guys. You could have did so much more. And as where Taz took ECW to a different level, imagine Rob being your number one guy with that title, how more prestige it would have gotten. Now, I'm not hating on him, what he's done, what he did do, but I just think that was one of a blown opportunity that ECW had to keep being relevant and got further along.
All right. Very good point. Thank you, Professor, for that. All right, Connor, what do you think?
See, Rob Van Dam was the main event of the mid card. That's without a doubt. Like, did he deserve a title run? Yes. Was it needed? No. Like, it was just something to add on to that list. Like, he was already the main event of the mid card. Like, a championship run would have been well deserved, but did he need it to cement anything? No.
All right. No, very good points of view. Thank you, sir. All right. God, okay. Yeah, I can't wait for this answer here. Notorious one. Hit
First
us with
off-
your whatever.
First off, to reply to Professor, the mid card wasn't all that RVD blazed through. Second off, you might as well have put the ECW World title on him. You put it on Just Incredible. So why not put the ECW World title on him? They had a lot worse champions than him running around. I understand why they didn't, because the TV title was the workhorse belt, not the storyline belt. And that's where RVD fit, because he couldn't cut a promo.
Fair, okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but fair enough. All right, gentlemen, let's move on to the comments here. James Madeline saying, no, the TV title was his title. I couldn't agree with you more. Oh, good night, Irene. Kyle's in here. Kyle was saying the biggest highlight of his career was ECW One Night Stand 06, one of the greatest visuals that I've ever seen in a wrestling ring. You know, Rob actually said that in his WWE biography recently. That was his, big moment. And he also said ECW One Night Stand 05 and 06 are both a top 10 WWE pay-per-view.
Can anybody hear Joe?
No.
Joe.
Joe, your mic went out.
Stick it in. As someone who didn't watch ECW and a big RVD fan, seems like he did okay for himself without having it. You're right, John. He did okay without having it.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes,
sir.
Yep.
Freaking cats, I swear. All right.
Oh, but we like cats around here.
We do. I don't know why mine's acting like a.
You should have a dog. I'm just saying, but that's just
Well, if I have a dog, I might as well just get Connor. Anyways.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know you were going to go there, Connor. I'm really sorry.
So much
Well-
love here. I
Well,
see.
speaking of opponents, let's talk about top 3 dream opponents for Mr. Pay-Per-View himself. You know what? I know I just picked on him, but let's give not you. Let's give Connor the first answer here. What is a dream opponent that you think would top 3 for RVD?
See,
It
if
can be anybody.
RVD was in a tag team, I would say definitely against the Dudley Boys, because that would be a fun one to see.
Sabu says hello.
Yeah, Sabu would have been a good opponent, but guess
He
what?
did have a tag team partner in Sabu.
Notorious. I'm on the big screen. Keep it shut.
Just trying to help you out here.
You
You
shit on
literally-
ECW. Your
You
opinion
only watch
is
like
invalid.
2 ECW shows. Come on. My favorite ECW show is ECW 1997.
At least I watch ECW without slagging it off.
Sorry, Connor. I like to slag it off.
All right. Stop it. Both of you need to stop. You already got 1 strike, ATV. Connor, let me get you back in the big
Keep
screen.
throwing your strikes.
So, Dudley Boys, we've established that.
Mhm.
Yes, he did have the tag team run with Sabu. Aaron, you've actually got some decent knowledge for once. Thank you. I forgot about that. Is it bad that I want to say Chris Benoit?
No.
I'd say Chris Benoit and then Sandman.
Okay. All right. Those are some pretty good ones. Professor, please bring us up. I lost brain cells worse than RVD at a smoke shop in Colorado. Can you top 3 dream opponents for Rob Van Dam?
I would love to see Rob versus Sting.
How did I
I'm
forget
gonna go really, really crazy with this one. In his prime, I would have loved to see Rob versus Hulk Hogan, just to see how much Hogan would sell for Rob, and if he would do the kick out on the big 5-star splash. I would love to see that. And I guess the other person is Rob versus Bret Hart, because Rob can actually wrestle. He actually is a good technical wrestler. A lot of people don't give him credit for. And to work with Bret, I would have loved to see that one.
All right, let's see. Actually, we got some comments here. Looks like Sting and RVD did work at one point in TNA. And looks like James did confirm that. They did have I thought they did they?
Pretty sure that's who RVD beat for the world title, wasn't it? Or was that AJ?
No, he beat AJ
No, it was
Styles.
Sting.
It was Sting. He rolled up Sting on Impact.
No, that was AJ Styles. That was
It was
AJ
AJ
Styles.
Styles.
He beat Sting too, though, once.
Yeah, he did.
Look.
Whenever
Yeah, he did. But
And I was gonna say now, I'd watched TNA, but I wasn't into it like that. So that may be true.
Well,
now old
This
school
was my
Sting would be
question.
pretty cool.
Professor, you said in his prime. Are you
Yeah.
talking about Hogan's prime or RVD's prime?
Both of them.
Okay. I just me and my brain.
Well, and the reason being the way Hulk worked and Rob worked are totally different. So they would have to come to some understanding and work. Because and I go back to the point of a lot of people don't give Rob enough credit for his mat work. He actually does some really good mat wrestling.
That's years of karate there too. So let's see, Aaron. You know what? You spoke up. Notorious us for a moment. How about that?
Okay. So the notorious answers.
Oh, good night.
I would love to have seen RVD and Glacier, RVD and Mortis, and I really would have enjoyed seeing RVD get squashed by Goldberg.
All WCW guys. Why am I not freaking surprised?
But now, in all honesty, I want to defer to Tan here on this one. Did RVD take on Lance Storm in a match? Because I have a feeling that would have been a lot of fun.
You're damn right.
And Bigelow, for that matter.
Ooh.
Yep.
And Professor, you've got me really wanting to see RVD and Bret Hart, because I think that would be a blast. That's why I asked about Lance Storm. Because I didn't watch enough ECW to know if they ever wrestled in ECW. Yeah, and I admit it.
Well, everybody fought you for everything, especially that. All right. So, Ruck, what do you think? Top 3 dream opponents for Mr.
Okay.
Rob Van Dam.
So in terms of charisma and mic ability, I got one off the rip right now.
All
I
right.
would love to see RVD in his prime to take a match against Seth freaking Rollins.
Okay.
I think that will be a barn burner. In the more words of Jim Ross, that would be a good old fashioned slobber knocker. That's one off the rip. Number 2, I would love to honestly see RVD in a match against Kenny Omega.
Ooh, yeah.
That would be a second one. I think those two matches right there will possibly be flirting with in the cursed words of Dave Meltzer, match of the year, 5-star match quality, which just doesn't exist. And number 3, thinking about this one here, in terms, and someone mentioned Sellers here. I would love to see RV. I don't know if this has happened. I don't know if this has happened, but I would love to see RVD take on Dolph Ziggler / Nick Nemeth.
Oh, that would be pretty good. That would be pretty good.
I think that would be something really special. Those
All
are my
right.
things.
Awesome. Thank you, Ruck, for those answers. All right, Benny Laurie, we believe in you. Top 3 dream opponents for Rob Van Dam.
I'm actually surprised nobody has mentioned these 3. This was actually something when you had invited me on a couple days ago, and you brought up the question to me, I kind of struggled with this one, but I came down to 3. First one would be Will Ospreay. I think that the styles would clash extremely well. Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan would be in another amazing match. And the last one I would throw in a wild card would be Jacob Fatu. And I say Fatu is I love the style of Jacob Fatu being the big guy who has so much athleticism in him and has the capability of just having an amazing match, being in New Japan and, now in WWE, and hopefully we'll get that Jacob Fatu eventually, on single style. But I definitely would love to see those 3 if there was in their prime, with RVD being in his prime. So yeah, Jacob Fatu, Daniel Bryanson, Bryan Danielson, and Will Ospreay.
Just for the record, just the fact that Jacob Fatu, that's a steal right there.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, let's move on to the comments here. God, these comments flooded here. Let me go back up here. Sorry. Let's see. James Manley is saying RVD versus X-Pac. Looks like wrestling from Mike D is saying RVD versus Kevin Owens.
That was also one I was considering as well, but I didn't know if he had faced him or not.
Mike Keaton confirmed, yes, it was Sting in RVD's debut in TNA. I thought I remembered that right. RVD versus Muta. Ooh,
oh my God, that would be crazy.
RVD versus Darby Allin in a hardcore match. That's coming from King of the 313 himself, Mike D. He's also saying RVD versus Seth Rollins. Vamos is saying salute to everybody. Thank you, Vamos. Let's see. Kyle is saying RVD X-Pac would have been a banger. Oh, good Lord. Don't use those big words, Kyle. You'll make your brain hurt. And RVD with Seth Rollins and RVD and Sami Zayn. Yeah. Let's see. RVD versus Omega. Well, John, looks like everybody got you there. Mike Keaton saying RVD versus Scott Hall. Hey, that would have been a little bit interesting. And King of the 313.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Ricochet.
Yeah. Could still happen if Ricochet and RVD go to AEW.
Possibly. Well, that's pretty big. I was saying RVD and John Cena or RVD versus Undertaker.
Those both happen.
Both happen.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy Vamos put those in there. He beat Cena for the WWE, and he actually beat Taker for the hardcore title.
Yes.
RVD versus Randy Orton. I don't know if that happened or not. Did that happen?
I don't think it did.
I don't think. Yeah, it did happen.
Yeah,
it did.
RVD versus Triple H. That one happened as well. Which
Triple H's reign of terror.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of people are talking about everybody in their prime, not
that's what I'm going into, like prime.
Right.
I'm like that could be good. RVD versus John Moxley.
That would be good.
That one would be really, really good.
Like a hardcore match.
James is hitting.
RVD
versus Owen Hart.
RVD and Sami Callihan would probably have been a lot of fun too.
Yeah, that would be good. Not an RVD dream match, but Sabu versus Jacob Fatu. Now that.
Oh my goodness.
That would have been suicidal, homicidal, genocidal match. That's exactly what we would call that. Connor, you're in here. Why are you commenting?
I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, good night, Irene. RVD versus Eddie Kingston. Oh wow,
that would be
that would be interesting.
Anybody in the front row would have to have something to cover them up from the blood that be flying out the ring.
So what
Yes,
what you're saying, Bear, is it would be like a version of Blue Man Group, but wrestling style.
Exactly.
RVD versus Randy happened in a stretcher match at One Night Stand 2007.
And if I recall correctly, Orton took out RVD with the multiple RKOs, and he got carried
Yes.
out of there.
Yes,
And,
that is.
and Jim Ross was basically almost sounding like he was about to be in tears after that match as well.
I remember that now. That's ringing a bell. All right, well, gentlemen, let's move on to the next question here. Does RVD belong in the Mount Rushmore VCW? Now, this was a question that I asked on the Facebook page. Most people, Tori, shut up, said no. They said he does not belong on any of the Mount Rushmores. Personally, I think if it's just ECW, sure, I'll give him more credit where credit's due. ECW Mount Rushmore, but we'll start with Mr. Benny Laurie here. Do you think RVD belongs in the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling?
Yes.
How come?
Because he was one of the popular wrestlers in ECW. He's one of the most talked about wrestlers in ECW history. He's one of the most trend-setting wrestlers in ECW history. People still want him to have wrestling matches. He's definitely up there on the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion. I know it's not even close. I put him number one.
All right. Thank you, Benny, for that. Ruck, what do you think?
Absolutely. And it's not just because of making the television championship and you had the amazing run that you had with that, but we got to go back to 2006 One Night Stand and the championship match that you had against John Cena and the atmosphere that you created against John Cena and that atmosphere that was there. It was all because of RVD and everything that happened. And not to mention, let's go back to the Alliance in 2001, in which it was basically on life support. One of the reasons why it stayed alive, it was because of RVD. The fan support was all there because of him. So to answer that question, yes, he should be on there. So go support to Rob Van Dam.
Awesome. Thank you, Ruck. All right, Professor Bear, what do you think? Do you think RVD deserves to be in the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling?
The Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling for ECW or just the Mount?
Either one. Either one.
Okay. Then if he is not on the Mount Rushmore of ECW, they have none. You cannot put any ECW thing together without Rob Van Dam. That's crazy. I could come up with some other words, but I'm gonna choose to be nice. And I can see Rob being on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, depending on your style, how you like wrestling. I can see it. Myself personally, he wouldn't, but he would be hovering around the probably top 20. I would definitely have to consider him. But yeah, ECW, that if you don't have him on ECW, there's no Mountain Rushmore.
All right. Thank you, Professor, for that. That's a very good comment there, as usual. Let's see. Connor Clarkson. Dare I ask him to go next? Do you think Mr. Pay-Per-View deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, whether it be strictly for ECW or just in general?
I think for his time, not in general, but for ECW, yes. Just because he converted the TV championship into the workhorse championship and proved why he is a workhorse.
Okay.
Plus, anytime RVD was there, the fans knew they were going to get stoned.
How could not, Irene? You and that. All right. You know what? ATB, what do you think?
I think that Connor probably doesn't know what Mount Rushmore is, so His opinion's irrelevant. I think as much as ECW deserves a Mount Rushmore, RVD deserves to be on it. That's my way of saying if they could afford it, sure, put him on there. He was the first guy they gave a guaranteed contract to. And that speaks volumes about the importance of RVD to ECW. So, yes, he would belong on ECW. Does he belong on the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling, period? He doesn't even belong in the discussion for Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling, period.
Alrighty. So you know what? Let's move on to a person who might disagree with you. Let's move on to Just 10 Credible. What do you think, good sir?
First, I would like to answer the last question because I did get skipped.
Oh,
and
I'm
I
sorry.
would like to say that my answers were Jushin Thunder Liger, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, and Canyon.
Okay.
Mortis.
And Aaron said Mortis. I'm going to go with Chris Canyon, not put him in the shitty gimmick. But Rob Van Dam absolutely belongs on the ECW Mount Rushmore. I mean, 700 days as TV champion, 121 title defenses. It doesn't get any better than that. There was nobody in that company that worked like Van Dam did. As a whole, I got to agree with Aaron. He's not even in the discussion.
Well, Benny here, he is saying he has a rebuttal. What are you saying, Benny?
No, I just wanted to clarify real quickly that what I was referring to was Mount Rushmore of ECW. Yes, like 1,000% yes. But Mount Rushmore overall, like of all professional wrestling, no, not even close. I wouldn't even put him on there. He's not even in my top 10. And it's not a knock on Rob Van Dam as a worker or his charisma or the way he performs in the ring. It's just that I would say somebody who has, you know, all the tools of talking on the microphone with the talent, with the wrestling, telling the story, everything else. There are so much more wrestlers that are out there that you could put in a Mount Rushmore or argue to put in a Mount Rushmore, whether it's in AEW, WWE, TNA, or New Japan. So no, he's not on my Mount Rushmore overall, but ECW, 1,000%.
I mean, let's just put it like this, and I apologize real quick. If someone had to sit here and go through hell and back just to get a major championship, that tells you all you need to know about somebody involvement, and it's basically Rob Van Dam.
Well, John here is saying, I'd have to say yes. And again, I never watched, but just for what I know, I'd go Sandman, Sabu, RVD, and Raven. Ooh, Raven, that's a good one. Maddie is saying hello. Hello, Maddie. How are you doing today, sweetheart? Wrestling from the 313, Mike D here is saying RVD, Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, and Paul Heyman on the ECW Mount Rushmore. Does Connor know Mount Rushmore? Highly doubted, Aaron. And Aaron just wants to rub this in everybody's face. 121 wins for RVD. Goldberg had 173 win streak. Goldberg is better than RVD. That's his words.
But the difference is 121 title defenses for a man that can wrestle. Goldberg couldn't put on a freaking wrist lock.
Goldberg was a professional wrestler.
Okay, God.
Rob Van Dam was an entertainer, but Goldberg could go out there and have a squash in 30 seconds, and it told the story that it needed to.
Technically,
RVD could have told a story.
Yes, but at the same time, it was Goldberg who ended Bret Hart's career at the same time.
Thank you.
No, it wasn't. No,
Yes,
Bret
you're
Hart
right.
ended his own career because Bret Hart's an
All right, with that said,
I will send you
that means
every time you do that.
that means, hey, Connor, just for you two. All right, so that means we're going to have to take a little bit of a break because Just 10 has a little bit of a job to do here that you promised. Go ahead and hold it up, sir.
All right. This is what we promised last week. This is for the giveaway, and Joe's got the wheel. We're going to spin it and see who wins this tonight.
All right, let me go ahead and get that here. Spin the wheel, make a deal. Are we ready? Do you see the wheel?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
You son of. Oh well, I guess I got to put it back in this screen. Hang on just a minute, gentlemen.
There it is.
Tanner,
Get
start
it?
doing
We got it
cartwheels.
brought up.
It's not up though, but I see it on the backstage.
Why is it not? Hang on, I
Dave,
may have to remove a
it's-
few of you, then put it back up here. Oh no! Don't remove Justin.
There
Don't
it is.
leave
There you
Aaron
go.
up here. Why is the algorithm against Justin today? There we go.
Bad
Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get this bad boy clicked to spin.
All right. Let's see who wins it.
Big money, big money, big money,
What
big money.
member of the Eggers Army wins this award?
Oh, wow. All
Curtis
right.
Jones.
Curtis
Hey,
Jones,
Curtis
congratulations.
Jones, you are the winner
Congratulations.
of the dual
You will get an
sign-
FBI autograph. Thank you for watching and commenting on last week's video.
Yeah, hang on. I got to add Connor back in here.
He's there.
All right. Now, are we going to behave now?
I've been on my best behavior. I have no issues.
I've been good.
Probably not.
I'm talking to you, Connor. All right. Well,
You're
we're back.
smart
Let's
enough
get
not
back here,
to
folks.
answer, so
Oh, God.
That is true. He is saying, Rebecca is saying he is awesome. He is watching. So
Awesome.
be sure to message Tan and he will get that mailed out to you. Right, Tanner?
We will get that going.
All right. The courtesy of Tanner, you know what? Just for that, Tan, you're awesome, man. Let's go ahead and let's give him a big round of applause for that. That was so nice of you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
See, look, even the notorious one's giving you a golf clap. That's saying
Hell
something.
froze over. Aaron's clapping. That's incredible.
I mean, it was nice of you. Next time, maybe you'll give him something of value, like a roll of.
That's enough of him. Anyways, there you go, Tanner, just for you, buddy, because he's the one that told me to skip you last time. Anyway, so with that being said, let's move on to our next question, which is, we talked about this earlier, where does Sabu and RVD as a tag team rank in ECW? Now, later on in the month, we are going to talk about ECW tag teams, but right now, let's go ahead. Let's get Benny Laurie here. He's the first one up to bat. Benny, what do you think? Where would you rank them?
I would put him up there. I didn't watch too much ECW growing up, but I would definitely put Sabu and RVD up there. But I wouldn't put them as the best tag team in ECW. That would definitely be the Dudleys, in my opinion.
No argument there. No argument there. Professor, where would you rank Sabu and RVD's tag team?
I would rank them 6, and the reason being, you the Dudleys, the Gangsters, the Eliminators, Public Enemy. Oh man, I had one more. Even Just Incredible and Lance Storm,
Impact players.
were better as a tag team. So, but being a tag team, ECW has some of the greatest tag teams out there. So it is not like I'm crapping on them. It's just better tag teams, and they did it more often too.
Right, and that's why we're doing a specific episode on tag teams for ECW, because the tag division in ECW was freaking insane. Just incredible. The man with the plan. How would you rank him?
Man, they had great matches as opponents and even better matches as a tag team. 6 is a good spot for them with all the other tag teams. Professor Bear's definitely right on that. They had one hell of a feud with the Eliminators, man, and it was a lot of fun to watch. 6 is a good spot.
6 is a really good spot. All right, thank you for that, Tan. All right, Ruck, you still here? Oh, okay, there we go. How would you rank him?
I think 6 is a good spot to be in, considering that that ECW was loaded with tag teams. 6 is a good spot. They're not overtaking the Dudleys. The Dudleys is arguably one of the greatest tag teams to ever do it in all of professional wrestling. 6 is a good spot for them.
All right, Connor Clarkson. what do you think? I should give you a little screen, but I'll give you a big screen, buddy. Go ahead.
Joe, don't flatter me. So, I'd say somewhere in the middle between like 5th and like 10th, because ECW's got a lot of
biggest icon in wrestling.
Do not interrupt me again. Thank you.
That wasn't me.
Who was it?
But Dave, he runs the soundboard. But go ahead, continue.
So yeah, between 5th and 10th, I think is a really decent spot. ECW was loaded with tag teams. That's just a fact. They were.
Dave, quit. Sorry, Connor. Go continue. I think. Continue.
So, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted yet again. Normally it's Aaron that interrupts me, but this time it makes a change to be Dave. So, yeah. Thanks for muting the mic as well. It's very helpful. So, yeah, I think between 5th and 10th is a pretty decent spot. ECW was loaded with tag teams. That's just a fact. They weren't the worst, but at the same time, they weren't the best, and they ain't going to overtake the Dudleys on those ranks.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you, sir. Sorry about the interruptions there. Speaking of someone who I think's behind that and paying Dave off me. Seriously?
I can unmute the mic myself, so
Oh, I'm happy you finally figured that out after.
I'm just playing nice. I think that RVD and Sabu, I mean, they rank, but so does Al Snow and Head.
No!
So I'll give them 6, sure. I don't think, personally, I don't put them above or below the Gangstas or the Eliminators, but I'm going to defer to the board for that one because that's more ECW than I care to watch. Start ranking the tag teams.
What the hell?
Okay, I just gotta ask this one question. Did you really just have this rough animosity towards ECW, man?
I'm not a big ECW fan. I don't hate them as much as I like to tease, especially Tan about. I love to tease Tan because that whole wall behind him is ECW autographs.
Hang on, let's get Tan in a bigger. Let's give him a solo run here. Here you go, folks. There is Tan's wall.
There we go. That's just a portion of it.
That's a beautiful wall.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. More to come.
Even Alex Eldridge has threatened to break in his house, but the only thing Alex Eldridge can ever break in is possibly a candy store.
FYI, I would love to have a wall like that, but not with wrestling stuff, but with gaming stuff. But
that would be cool. That would be really cool.
Or you could be like me and have a lot of games.
Hang on,
that's
Professor.
something I would love to have.
Let me get Professor here in a big screen, so that way he can show off his little collection he's got going on.
See, that is
just a little.
I love that Black Panther. I love that Black Panther thing right now.
Appreciate it.
Oh, that is pretty awesome.
Alrighty, gentlemen, let's go ahead and let's move on to the next question, which is, now this is something, I'm happy you brought up collectibles because Show Me the Collectibles, which is also with Crander Q, is coming back. So be sure to be on the lookout. And speaking of Crander Q, this is his question that he has for you all today. Does RVD overshadow his wife Katie's wrestling accomplishments? Not many people know this, but she was actually pretty big overseas. So what do you think, Professor? We'll start with you.
No, I don't think he overshadows it. Like we truly know, women wrestling don't get the credit or the exposure that it should to begin with. And he's Rob Van Dam. No matter who you put him up against, it's going to make you think off the bat, okay, Rob or whoever. So I don't think he overshadows it. I just think she doesn't get a lot of credit. And another thing, I've seen her wrestle 2 to 3 times, and I feel like it's damn near a porno. So
Okay, well, fair enough, fair enough. All right. Speaking of which, Connor, since you have a certain account that I'm not going to mention, what do you think? Does Katie overshadow Rob? Does Rob's career overshadow Katie's?
I'm just trying to breathe after your comment. But speaking of the comment, I'm going to be running a 20% discount soon.
Oh, good night, Irene.
So,
Was it hashtag notorious ATB? Sorry, I had to ask.
oh, Joe.
Don't be mad that I'm a top fan, okay?
All right, Connor, go ahead and answer the question. Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
stop.
All right, yes or no, sir?
So, here's the thing. Katie's got her own achievements. They are acknowledged, not as much as what they deserve to be, but that's women's wrestling as a whole, let's just be honest. She's definitely got some decent achievements, but I think out of the two as a couple, RVD is the one that's recognized more and is spoken about more. So,
Okay,
yes.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you for your comment there. All right, speaking of women's wrestling, Notorious ATB, what do you think?
I'm not going to make any fans with this one. I think that women's wrestling doesn't draw and doesn't really matter. So, sure, he overshadows her achievements. But her achievements also don't really matter. Her two biggest achievements are the ones she paid for and her husband.
Oh, come on. Stop it.
that was better than what I thought he was going to say.
Good. No more. No. All right, Benny. What
I
do
don't
you
know if I
think?
want to follow up with that, man. To be honest with you, Cannonball. Yeah, anybody that's going to be around RVD, that's going to be an overshadow. So, yeah, definitely, I agree with what everybody else is saying, except ATV because I don't want. In Spanish we say "sando" in Spanish. I don't want a chancleta being thrown at me. So no, I'm good. My wife is near here. I don't want to get my ass kicked.
That sounds good. Ruck, I'm sorry, but go ahead and give us your answer, sir.
So I would just say this. RVD's wife has had she has had an amazing career. Now, it took years for America to really understand and how to appreciate and to show off of women's wrestling in this country. Not because a certain someone's just said because it's terrible, but simply because they just didn't know how to really show off and like broadcast women's wrestling in this country. It took years, and I mean years, to really broadcast it. But having said that, RVD's career just has been better, not simply because his better career was better than hers. It's just, well, quite frankly, but it was just by default, in my honest opinion.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Ruck, for that. You are awesome as always. Last but not least, Just 10 Credible. Please don't be as controversial as your co-host. What do you
Well,
think?
I would like to start by saying that once again, just like I said last week, what Aaron says does not reflect Teal 5 Wrestling as a whole. But if we're going to talk about comparing the career of Rob Van Dam and Katie, that's like comparing a filet mignon with Spam. It's not comparable. That's a question that I didn't feel like I'd be answering tonight. That's an honor.
Katie would be the Spam.
Oh, goodness. All right, that's enough. Enough from you.
That's going to be a no. I don't think that her career has any means whatsoever compared to Rob Van Dam's.
So, all right, let's go ahead and let's move on here. Let's see. Katie Forbes stinks, according to John. Well, he's friends with ATB, so that That's all you need to know about John. Liam, that is my nephew. Hello, Liam. How are you doing, buddy?
Hello, Liam.
Let's see. Please vote now if you never want to see Notorious ATB on ECW again.
Well, I know the Rucks vote already.
The views and opinions expressed by ATB did not reflect. No, that's the truth. We do not. Let's see. It's a shame that there is still the stigma, though, against women's wrestling. It's really going to take about 10 to 15 more years to grow the fans into it, or 25 plus years if you're someone like ATB. But
look,
but
I
no,
will give credit. Women's wrestling has gotten better. To be honest, I can't name one Katie match that I have even seen. So, yeah, RVD completely overshadows her.
And John also posted the views and opinions expressed by ATB do not reflect on me and my friendship with ATB.
Well, and I'm gonna have to say real quick, a lot of times we talk about how women are not comfortable, but it's not the women, it's how they're presented. We don't give them the spotlight. We don't take them seriously. If a major company took them seriously and gave them the same type of energy that they give men, I guarantee you that the women would, a lot of them would blow the men out the water.
100% correct. Because remember, it took WWE almost 20 years for them to stop having women in bra and panty matches and all these food fights and whatever the case may be, all these stupid gimmicky matches, and it took them for them to actually have legit wrestling matches for them to take the women seriously, and then stop naming them divas before they actually respect their women, basically. You know what I'm saying?
And you got to remember too. You got to remember that Stephanie McMahon created it. Don't forget.
Yes.
Are we talking about?
She agreed with the Professor. Sorry, Tam. Sorry.
Are we talking about Katie Forbes or women wrestling as a whole? Because if we're talking about bra and panties matches setting women's wrestling back, that's Katie Forbes' entire shtick.
All right, let's move on to the next.
I will say this quick.
All right.
The bra and panty matches are probably the only time Aaron watches women's wrestling.
No, I love
All right,
hold on. I actually really enjoy Willow. I really enjoy Hikaru Shida. Tan has heard me say several times the best storyline in wrestling this year has been Tony Storm. I like some of AEW's women's wrestling.
Respect.
As a whole, I haven't seen much women's wrestling that was the least bit entertaining. That doesn't mean that there haven't been entertaining women in wrestling.
All right. Yep. We are back with our regularly scheduled programming with our very last question of the night. Should RVD be in every wrestling Hall of Fame? As we know, he was in recent years put in the WWE Hall of Fame. Does he deserve to be in every wrestling Hall of Fame? You know what? Let's go ahead and let's start with none other than Tan here. Tan, what do you think? Does he deserve to be in every pro wrestling Hall of Fame?
Why not? RVD has had success in every company and promotion he's ever been a part of. I don't see why not. The guy's resume speaks for itself.
All right. Thank you, Tan. Professor Bear, what do you think?
I think no. Just because Rob is fantastic, and don't get me wrong, but that's just like saying people who didn't work for a company deserves to be in there because of name recognition. Just because, no, I no. Even as much of a Ric Flair fan as I am and respect him, Rick doesn't deserve to be in every Hall of Fame. There's different categories, different things for different companies. So,
right.
No.
All right, Ruck, what do you think? Does RVD deserve to be in every pro wrestling Hall of Fame?
That's a trick question, honestly, because just because you quote unquote work for a company does that mean does that deserve you to give all the full honors and the respect for that company? Allow me to change this question real quick.
Go ahead.
Benny, many years ago, his team paid Dante Culpepper all the prayer and the glory, all the money and everything, almost $100 million to play for the Miami Dolphins. And he didn't even finish a full season. Does he deserve all the praise and honors for that? No, of course not. So if say for instance RVD and went to Lucha Underground and only barely wrestled a match, does he deserve to be in their Hall of Fame? Of course not. So no, he shouldn't be. He deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. He deserves to be in TNA's Hall of Fame. But does he deserve to be in, let's say, AEW's Hall of Fame if he was there? Does he deserve to be in New Japan Pro Wrestling's Hall of Fame? No. So no, he shouldn't be.
All right. Well, you asked for Benny Laurie. You say his name, and he appears. Here is Benny Laurie. We believe in you, buddy. What do you think? Especially the Miami Dolphin comment. I'll go ahead and let you get that one out of the way. Then you can answer the question.
For the sake of this being a PG show and kids are watching, I'm going to really save my comments for Jeff later on after the air.
Okay.
Screw you, bastard. Really had to go there, man. Jesus. Well, I could say something about Cleveland sports, but I'll leave that one alone. Anyways, so I would say no. I agree with Professor Bear 1,000%, as well as Judson to a certain degree. I think that he does deserve to be. You really, guys, go to hell, Jeff. You guys have to understand with ECW and WWE, even though it's part of the same family. Yes, he deserves to be in those, but not every Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. No.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next. Never mind. You're going to say no. Anyways. You know what? No, that's not fair. That's not fair. Let's give him his time. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna start this with an insult and finish it with a compliment.
Oh, that's a new one.
Is this opposite?
So first off, I'm going to agree with the love child of The Rock and Mr. Ruckfools, John Cena.
Wait, what?
In that, no, he doesn't belong in every
Thank you,
wrestling Hall of
ATV. I
Fame.
appreciate that.
You're welcome. He doesn't belong in every wrestling Hall of Fame because he's not earned it in every wrestling Hall of Fame. But if we're going to get that way with it, there's been a lot of people put in the WWE Hall of Fame that have never stepped a foot in a WWE ring.
I agree.
Abdullah Butcher.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, Sting's in the WWE Hall of Fame. We might as well put RVD in the AEW one.
Well, and I think it goes back to what I was saying before. Everybody has different criteria for their Hall of Fame. So just because, and I understand why certain people who never wrestled for a company gets into their Hall of Fame is because they're showing respect for things they did in the past or whatever. But not every Hall of Fame is set up that way. So there's no wrestler that I could think of that deserves to be in every Hall of Fame.
I got a prime example of that too, for instance, and it just happened this year. Like Muhammad Ali, for instance. Now, the other day, I was getting my hair cut, and I was watching the Rumble in the Jungle. And guys, I tell you right now, I literally was having tears watching that fight. That is probably the greatest fight I have witnessed watching, just watching it. It was one of the most beautiful fights I ever seen. But having said that, and I'm not trying to disrespect Muhammad Ali in no way, shape, or form, I'm still trying to figure out how exactly he got into WWE's Hall of Fame just by appearing at WrestleMania 1 and just waving his fist in the air. I'm just trying to figure out what exactly did he do to get into WWE's Hall of Fame.
Well, and and you just strengthened my point. They have a criteria for certain things, like their guests. I mean, look at how many people have been put in their Hall of Fame and hadn't did anything. Some that need to get taken out of it. But again, it goes on the criteria that the organization, because it's like, hey, I might make a Hall of Fame and decide to put all y'all in it because this is my criteria. But then it may be some people who are really bigger than us that goes all out, and I choose not to have them. It's just a criteria for anybody.
I will add something else to that as well, and I agree with you. Every wrestling organization definitely does have its wrestling criteria, and I'm not saying that RVD shouldn't be mentioned in anything else, but I just feel like, you know, there's certain points where he's made an impact, but ATB does have a point that there are wrestlers like Muta who have never stepped foot in WWE and got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. So to a certain point, I do agree with that. But also, I also want to add that Jeff the Ruck is more like Liberace than Muhammad Ali.
Oh, good night, Irene.
Come on, man. What?
Listen, you know what? I'll say
You
this.
the Dolphins, I'm going to throw you under the bus, so screw you, okay?
All right, you know what? I'll say this. I smell what the Ruck is cooking. I agree with them. And you know what? I agree with him so much that, you know, even ATB left. Thank the Lord. It is now peaceful. Connor, you can now say your piece, buddy. You want to re-answer your questions real quick? That way you don't really get interrupted by AT. Okay, I'm kidding. So let's see. John is saying what the heck?
In district.
Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Oh, good night, Irene.
Oh, God.
And John is asking, was Ali in the celebrity? I think it was the
Yes,
celebrity.
he was.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, to our fans, do we have any more questions regarding either Rob Van Dam, the John
I haven't
Monroe
answered
show?
this question yet
Oh, good night, Irene. What?
about the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
you
did.
didn't ask. No.
Well, you said I
You told
did,
me
Aaron.
an answer, but then never gave an answer.
Oh, good night, Irene. I am so sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
Thank you. It's nice to know that some people on here actually give me respect, unlike Aaron. Sorry, what? So, does he deserve to be in every Hall of Fame? No, that's just ridiculous. ECW, yes. WWE, yes, that's been proven already. TNA, there's a very high chance of TNA's Hall of Fame. But every promotion, no, that's just ridiculous. And to agree with what Professor Bear said, every promotion has a different criteria for the Hall of Fame.
What the
If
heck?
it was the same criteria for each promotion, then every wrestler would be in. Every wrestler that gets addicted to one Hall of Fame would be.
I did not put that, Connor, for the record. I did not. I did not put that on there. I don't know why that's put on there. My hands are up here.
That was me. I'm sorry, Connor. I had to ask that question without interrupting.
I was going to blame Dave, but okay, Benny fessed up.
Doesn't look like he's from Sons of Anarchy.
You do look like an extra from Sons of Anarchy. That's not an insult. That's a compliment.
Have you guys seen John Wick? He's the guy who's on this car.
Oh
And
my
you look
gosh.
like the man who ate the vending machine.
Look, why don't you stand up and say that to my face?
No, Connor, don't. No. You're about to be fired, Aaron. Stop it.
Why am I getting fired?
Because you're picking on the Brit, and I like him. John is. We have killed him or unalived him. Whatever you. I don't even know what I can say anymore.
That was you.
I'm sorry. Is that Benny?
No, that was Dave.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I expect nothing less from the guy who always runs over on his show and gets kicked off YouTube.
Oh, okay.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Fair
Good.
play, fair
Okay,
play. I bow out.
folks, before
Moving on. This
before
is
we
a
get
professional
canceled,
podcast.
I want to give another big shout out to our sponsors, especially to Phenomenal Finds ATL. Again, if you're looking for anything retro, go check out phenomenalfindsatl.com. Also, another big shout out to Charms Photos. Crystal, you're doing a wonderful job. Keep it up. And Les Murphy Painting. Again, if you have any trouble with any painting needs, contact Les Murphy at 734-334-3702, as well as Red Ape Graphics by Crander Q. Unfortunately, cannot make it the next few shows. He is a very busy man, and I wish he was here to see this catastrophe between Connor and ATB. Now, with that being said, do you guys want to? No, I'm not even going to put that out there. Speaking of ATB, the Till 5 Wrestling has T-shirts, which you can get from this QR code, as well as the Joe Monroe Show shirts and the Eldridge and Monroe Horror Show shirts. Go check that out. Click that lovely little whatever the heck QR code. That's what it's called. That's what the kids call it today. Go ahead and click on that. In 3, 2, 1. If you did not get that, you are too late. But I will have it in the description below. So, gentlemen, this has been the episode of Rob Van Dam. Unfortunately, Connor and ATB still cannot get along. I don't know why. Ruck, Benny, thank you for coming on. This is the first episode that you guys have been on. Professor, we do wish you well in your surgery, sir.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as soon as you get well enough, we'd love to have you back on. You're more than welcome back on the Joe Monroe Show, which I want to say right here, since we are under 100% full control under me, this show does have an open door policy to anyone that respects the sport of professional wrestling, and or is more than welcome to come on either for the roundtable or be a special guest here on the history of pro wrestling. And big shout out to Wrestling from the 313, Mike D. He's wishing you well in your surgery as well, Professor. You know what, gentlemen, if you don't mind, Professor, if you want to go ahead and give some words here of wisdom before we roll out, especially in Connor's case, roll out. Do you want to go ahead and give us big words of wisdom here since you're going to be gone for a little while?
Like I always say, wrestling is an art. We love this art. Support it. Support your local wrestling. Support your local guys that do content. Just enjoy yourself. And as good as it is, you have to remember, as good and how healthy it is, it can go away if we don't act right. So please keep it going. Check out WSN app. We have all types of different wrestling. We got everything, you name it. We got cartoons, we got full-blown movies, we got content creators. We have so much. Check it out. And also go to our website. Our website is The Wrestling Society. And one last thing that we just did, we actually have an indie wrestler of the week. Yes, we're showing love to indie wrestlers, and you can make a difference by voting. So only thing you do, go to our website, go to the indie wrestler and hit that vote and put your vote in. And when you vote, please make sure you put something so we can get in touch with that person, Facebook page, if you have their email, if you have any information on it, please put that in. And as always, as I always say, thank you, because without you, there is no us. So thank you. And that sign is true. It says, what doesn't kill you make you stronger, except birds. We will kill you.
All right. Also, go check out Wrestling for the 313 in the podcast room on the Wrestling Society Network. He is on there. Mayhem Media is on there. I will soon be on there. Professor Bear is still working on that for me, so we'll have episodes there pretty soon, folks. And with that being said, I'm just going to close it out right now because Professor Bear always has words of wisdom. You all take care. Have a good night. And always, always, always support professional wrestling. Dave, go ahead and roll us out.